So if you're experiencing a drop in your Etsy sales, then in today's video, I'm going to show you some proven tactics that we can use today to get your sales skyrocketing back up. So if you're new here, my name's Alfie and I became a multi-six-figure Etsy seller in just 2 years, and I've also had some pretty good success with my other e-commerce brands. So look, your Etsy sales may have dropped for a whole variety of reasons, and this could be anything from increased competition to changes with the Etsy algorithm, and even pure external factors such as inflation and different economic changes. However, if you use a variety of the different tactics which I'm about to show you in today's video, then I'm almost certain that you're going to be in a better position tomorrow than what you are today. So let's start with the very first thing that you can do to get your Etsy sales back up, and this is to create copies of listings and A/B test. So it's no secret that whenever you put out a new listing on Etsy, the listing that you put out gets an automatic and brief boost in the Etsy algorithm. And you gotta think, this is because Etsy themselves, they don't have any prior data on your listing to determine where to rank it. So you get this temporary boost to basically get some additional traffic coming into your listing at the start, so Etsy can then start to learn about the listing and see how popular it is, look at the conversion rate of it, and get all of this data that they can then use to position your listing properly in the longer term. So this is why it is so important, and I always stress this, to be continuously adding new listings to your Etsy shop. So no matter how long your business has been open for, this is something that you just have to do. And a really quick and simple way that we can do this is to literally just go into our dashboard, go into our listings, and just create copies of our existing listings on our store. And to also get the most out of doing this, I also recommend that with the copies, you then change around things like your title, your SEO, and certainly change around what image you use for the thumbnail image. So you can then also not only take advantage of the boost that your listing is going to get in the Etsy algorithm up front, but you can also use this as a really good opportunity to A/B test the new listing layouts versus the old one. And you can just start to build that overall better picture of what is working well on Etsy now and what isn't working so well. So yeah, that's a great one to get started. Next thing I reckon you do is to play around with your listing pricing and maybe even put some listings at cost. So you should always be doing competitor research, all right, because over time, the market pricing can change dramatically, and this is something that you always want to stay ahead of. So something I recommend you to do, and you can literally even just pause this video and do it, is to just carry out some thorough pricing research on all of your different product types. So I like to do this personally by going onto Etsy, typing in the exact keywords that I'm using for one of my products. So say for example, I'm selling a mug with a picture of a dog on it. I would literally just type in something like funny dog mug or something like that. I'd look at kind of the rough pricing ranges for all of the top, say 20 to 30 products that show up on the searches. And this is going to give you kind of a really good general rough pricing gauge of what your product price should be at. Because I mean, if you're pricing your product at like 25, 30, 40% over all of the competition, then this could be a really big indication of why you're not quite getting the sales that you may have been getting previously. So yeah, I personally don't think there's anything wrong at all with dropping your price a little bit just to get some sales momentum coming back in. And then once you start picking that momentum up again, you can of course then slowly start creeping the prices of your products back up to where you'd be happy with. And kind of in line with this pricing point, another thing you can do is to actually add something what's known as a loss leader to your Etsy store. So this is basically a product which you list for sale, which you actually make a loss on. But it's a product that you list, which is priced so far under the competition, the people that are shopping for it, they literally almost have no choice but to click on it because it's such a good deal. You may lose a little bit of money on that one product if people actually decide to click on it and buy it. However, the amount of traffic that this loss leader is going to bring to your store is going to massively outweigh the small bit of loss that you're going to make each time you sell one of those products. So this is a strategy that a lot of top Etsy sellers use. You'll see a lot of the top Etsy stores, they've got like say 1 or 2 products which seem to be really, really cheap. And then they've got all of their other products which are priced like a lot more standard pricing strategy. And I think certainly if you've experienced a big drop in sales, this would probably go hand in hand with a loss of traffic or a big drop in traffic to your store. I think certainly anything that you can do to start getting some more traffic back to your store is going to be a really solid option for you. And now this one's going to apply more to you if, say, you've had your store open for a long time and you maybe haven't kept so much up to date with how your listings are actually being presented, and most importantly, how the SEO is being structured on your listings. So the fourth point, of course, is going to be to fix your SEO. So there's a few ways that we can fix our SEO. One thing that you can do is to simply just go onto Etsy, type in whatever sort of product type it is that you're personally selling that you want to improve your SEO on, find some best sellers that you're competing against, go into their listings, and then if you scroll down, you'll see a section which says explore related searches. You'll see a whole load of tags in this section, right? And this perfectly equates and perfectly matches up to the actual tags that this product is using for SEO purposes. So to at least get you back in line with the competition and a level playing field in terms of SEO, of course, one thing you can just do is take some of the best tags from the best selling listings that you're not using on your own and maybe just try them out in, like I mentioned earlier in the video, an A/B test, and yeah, see if that helps to improve your SEO and get some more traffic back to your store. However, I know that that's quite a lengthy process, and I know that that sounds like it is going to take a lot of time, because it is. So the way that I personally do this is to actually use a third-party SEO app. So I've mentioned them loads on this channel before. The one I use is Everbee, just because it's quick, easy, beginner-friendly to use. So literally all I do is go on here, go on the product search bar, type in, again, just like I did on Etsy, the exact product type that I want to sell personally, and then I'll search that. And Everbee is really good because it's going to show you all of the best-selling products for that product type, and it's going to give you loads of valuable information, you know, how many sales it makes, what the monthly revenue is for that product, etc. A whole load of details which you can see on Everbee, which you can't see elsewhere. And the thing that I use this app for mostly is if you click into a product, you can then actually see the exact tags that the product is using. But the bit that saves the massive amount of time here is there's literally a copy function. So in one click, you can copy all the tags that that product uses, go onto your own product, and you can just paste them straight in, and then literally just take out the tags that aren't quite applicable to you, and put obviously the wording in that is a lot more applicable to the product you're trying to sell. And like I said, there are loads of other apps out there that do very similar things. However, I always use Everbee. I swear by them just because they're really simple to use. I find them really beginner friendly. It's the app I've always personally used. They've also kindly sponsored today's video. If you want to check them out, I'll leave a link in the video description. If not, no problem. Again, you don't need these apps to be successful on Etsy, but they certainly do, from my experience, save a hell of a lot of time. But moving on to our next tactic now, and this is to go on a massive review requesting spree. So what I mean by this is to try and get as many reviews coming in a short space of time as possible, because this is just going to show to Etsy that our store's popping off and we've got a lot of things going on and a lot of interaction with our store. So I recommend to manually send a message to all of your most recent previous customers. So if you haven't ever done this before, maybe start with just say every customer that you've sold to in the past month or the past 2 months, send them a personalized message, simply just asking if they would feel comfortable to leave you a review. And now I'm going to flash up an example of a message which I personally sent to my customers here. Again, feel free to pause the video and copy the message word by word if you wish. Essentially, all you've got to do is just change the customer name each time. And what I've found from my experience is whenever I've done this, I've literally just had a whole influx of reviews coming in. And for some reason, this does also equate to a boost in sales in my store. And it's something that happens literally every single time I do it. So yeah, it's not something that's written about on Etsy at all. Like Etsy don't say that this has any effect themselves. And I'm purely just talking from personal experience here. But yeah, certainly one to try. And I think at the very least, having a lot higher review score that shows up on your listings in Etsy searches, there's probably no negative to that, right? But yeah, moving on to the next thing we can do to start growing our store back up again. And this is of course, to keep innovating and keep adding new products to our store. No matter what you're selling, I know it probably takes a lot of effort to make new products, but this is how we grow our store. And this is also how we show to Etsy that we're a serious seller and we're continuously innovating and improving our store over time. Probably hardest of all, if you're selling handmade goods, I do recommend you put a little bit of time into just innovating your design and adding some new products over time. I think this is essential. But if you're selling digital products and print on demand, This is essential. And also, if we're probably being honest with ourselves, we probably know that this is something that we need to do and that we should be doing to continue the success of our store. So the playing field is always changing, our competition are always adding new products, there's always new products popping off on Etsy, and we simply need to be adding these new listings just to level the playing field, just to compete against the competitors. Because the same thing's always gonna happen. If we stop putting the time in to increasing our product catalog, somebody else is going to do it, and they're going to be taking our customers, and they're going to be taking our position on the Etsy algorithm. I just want to say this to you, don't neglect it. Keep adding new products to your store. You should be doing it, so continue to do it. And another massive reason why your sales could have dropped over time is sadly because your product may no longer be as popular as it once was on Etsy. So this is why I think it's really important, no matter what we sell, to try and make our product as evergreen as possible. So meaning that it's going to stay popular and there's going to be demand for the product years into the future. So if you guys want some great ideas on some solid evergreen products that you can easily knock up to sell on Etsy, then I recommend that you check out this video here. Otherwise, I just want to say thanks so much for watching. Continue with your journey. Best of luck. You're going to smash it. Keep going. And I'll see you on the next one.